tremendous performance from,
as Scott Van Pelt would say, sublime.
Nikola Jokic and Denver at home against Kevin Durant and the Rockets. Picking it up in the second, Durant, Alperen Şengün, and down low, he drops in a little half hook. We're tied at 35. And then it's time for some of that sublime stuff that we see. All right, Jokic, give me that. The beautiful touch pass out to Christian Brown, and they're off and running. Jamal Murray scored 17 points on 8 of 9 field goals from Jokic's passes. Jokic, the first Nugget player with 5 points, 5 boards, 5 assists, and 5 steals in any half in the play-by-play era. It's what the guy does. Jokic, through the contact, it might not be athletically sublime, but it's just remarkable basketball always. There's Murray, short, that's okay. Jokic, ball booms beautifully, ping-ponging into the corner. There's Brown with a corner three, and Denver's pushing its lead out to a comfortable margin. Brown again, he had 19. A 16, 12, 13 triple-double. As I say, Murray went for 30. We shorted him on the highlight. That's okay. He's going to stop by for a visit. But we have breaking news, and it's Tim Legler is with us. Our guy who has graduated to much bigger and better things out there, calling all the games, going to be on the finals, which is awesome. And Legs, if you and I were doing what we've done through all the years, sitting here on Wednesday nights talking through the league, I wouldn't have to ask you this treetops question that's going to start with San Antonio. But I got to start here because I feel like they're a team that has really captivated people with this notion that they might not need to wait and bide their time in the playoffs as so many other teams have. Maybe they'll crash the party and win their first 16 playoff games as a group right now. You're shaking your head. Are they ready to really make noise?
Yeah, I'm one of those people that would ascribe to that mentality around this team. And it's sort of taken time to grow on me to that extent. I think a lot of people, Scott, the bottom line is this. They can beat you in a number of ways. And that when I look at teams, that's what I look at when I think about deep playoff runs. They don't have to have a big shooting night from the three to beat you because their defense can be locked down. Obviously, they've got this game-altering player on the back end, but it's all over the floor. The commitment they get out of their guards. One of the most physical sets of guards we have in this league. Role players that buy in every night to the effort that they have to bring. But there's other nights they can make 23s in a game if that's what it takes. You saw Wemby make 8 the other night. So, yes, I might like this roster, Scott, more than any other in the NBA, certainly as much as any other. San Antonio definitely is a legitimate title contender this season when we thought it was going to be a progression.
You saw a Denver team tonight that's done it. Obviously, OKC is the reigning champs. They've not changed at all in terms of their approach. How many teams are on your list? And I know you write with a very sharp pencil when we're talking about who could win a title. How many are in the West that you believe could?
Well, clearly San Antonio, Oklahoma City deserve their own place right now in the Western Conference. They've earned it. Both of those teams obviously are title contenders. Beyond that, where you get into that next group of teams, and all of them have been inconsistent this year. When you look at a team like Houston, you look at Minnesota, you look at Denver, you look at the Lakers. Those are the next 4 teams you look at. Of those, the one team I'm looking at and saying I could see it coming together for them as well would be Denver. Because they were so good out of the gate when they had mostly a full complement of their players. And Peyton Watson hadn't even emerged yet at that time. Since that first 14-game stretch to start the year, it's been just one injury after another. I know a lot of teams have dealt with it, but when I look at their depth and the guys they're starting to get back, Aaron Gordon now back on the court, Christian Brown recently came back. They're still waiting on Peyton Watson. He's going to come back any day now. When I look at that, I say, you know what, the Denver Nuggets and what they were at the start of the year, I think they can be that or better to close the season once they get some continuity. So of that next group of 4, Denver's the one team I would look at.
Jamal Murray is going to join us here in just a moment, so I'll squeeze in one last one just to quickly pivot to the East. I am not in any way dismissing or discounting Detroit. They've earned their place at the top. But when you get a player like Tatum back in Boston, who's right there at 2 already, you don't have to squint too hard to see what they might be. How do you kind of view that battle at the top in the East with Tatum now back for the Celtics?
Boston looks like a team now that, a lot of people are going to consider to be the favorite, and I can see why. Because, look, you get Tatum back, that's great. right? You know what the difference maker he is. But, Scott, here's the thing with Boston, just culturally, the way they play. Nobody turns it over less, and nobody protects the paint better. When you do those sorts of things, you make it incredibly difficult for teams to beat you because of your own mistakes or your own breakdowns. They just don't make them. They communicate so well. Everybody knows their role. And now you inject Jason Tatum back into the equation to go along with a guy like Jaylen Brown, who's probably going to be first-team All-League this season. I love the Boston Celtics. I love the way they play every night. And now we'll see what Jason Tatum can become here in a relatively short period of time before the playoffs start.
Right on. This is like old times, my guy. I'm proud of you. I love you. It's great to visit with you. We'll save Commanders free agency talk for another day when we don't have a guest waiting. And I know you got to get to that airport in Denver, and you'll be able to see it for 20 miles before you get to it. That's the strangest. That's a whole other topic for another day. Get there safe and get home safe, Tim. I appreciate you.
Will do, Scotty. Anytime, man.
All right, Tim Legler makes way for us to welcome back to the program Jamal Murray. Jamal, hey, it's Scott Van Pelt. Thanks for joining me after victory number 40. We're at that place in the season where it's not like the playoffs are right around the corner, but they're getting closer. Where is this group, as we just heard Tim talk about? You're getting guys back who are healthy, and you're trending in the direction to try to do what you've done before, which was win a chip.
Yeah, for sure. We're just trying to get everybody back as guys have started getting healthier. We're starting to just trying to find our rhythm, our flow on offense, but defensively, just being more active, being more physical, being more disruptive in every way, and obviously grabbing the board. So, that's been our focus. As long as we come in, whoever comes in the game and does that, we should be fine. So we have a lot of guys playing different roles, playing with different units. It's been a good figure-out process for us, but now we're ready to get healthy.
You know how things work, right? OKC's the reigning champs, so they get their love. The Spurs are the shiny new thing, so they get their love. And you guys are just hanging around like, we've done this too, right? I'm just interested in how you view yourselves in the picture in the West, given the relative chatter that surrounds the teams in the West, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we just keep on pushing, man. We know what we're capable of. We just got to get back on track in terms of, like I said, getting healthy, getting everybody together. We've had some losses that kind of got away from us, so we're just trying to have that focus each and every single night that we step in for and not have no lapses. So it's been trending in the right direction.
It wouldn't surprise anybody, Jamal, if you guys did what you've done in the past, which is go on a long run, maybe the run that ends in a parade. If I ask the ingredient that's the most important thing in that run, it seems like health, right? I mean, is that really what it comes down to, just having all hands on deck?
Yeah, for sure. That's a huge part of it. Obviously, having guys that can come in the game and play and not be out. But, I think just defensively, what we did tonight, that has to be a way how we come into games in the playoffs for sure and for the rest of the stretch in the season. Just getting the hands in the lanes and, like I said, just being disruptive. And we can do that. We're already pretty good on offense. So we're generating open shots. Some days they go in, some days they don't. But we know that defensively is where we got to pick it up.
All right, Spurs tomorrow. You and I have had some fun through the years and had some odd questions and moments. This is going to be a total out of left field. I just want to know one thing today about Denver. I love that city. I never know if it's 75 degrees or if it snows a foot. What was the weather in Denver today?
Yeah, definitely bipolar for sure. It was nice and sunny. It's nice and sunny.
Nice. You guys haven't had any snow at all this year, have you?
Nah, it snowed like 2 days ago, but it's gone now. So.
Oh, see, that's Denver. One day it snows a foot, next day it's 80. Enjoy the weather, safe journey where you're going, and we'll talk to you in the playoff time if we can. I look forward to that. Be well, all right?
I appreciate you too.
All right, be well. Jamal Murray and Denver gets
a 6-point game at the break as we welcome you inside our Los Angeles studios alongside Brian Windhurst, Michael Malone, Kendrick Perkins. I'm Malika Andrews. All right, gentlemen, let's dive right in. We've had some back and forth, some ugly moments in the first half, and yet we got a close one here, Coach.
Well, you have one of the greatest scorers of all time in Kevin Durant, and the Denver Nuggets are not letting him play tonight.
Yep.
They are blitzing him. They are double-teaming him in the post. He's only got 4 shots, and this is a great example of it. He's looking to turn the corner. He's seeing a crowd, and Denver has forced 10 turnovers, and that leads to easy offense. Christian Braun, one of the best transition players in the league. As he's trying to get downhill, we talk about gravity all the time in modern-day NBA parlance. This is a great example of all the gravity he's creating, and then Denver's doing a really good job of taking him off, and they're basically saying, Perk, no one else can beat them. They don't think anybody else in Houston is good enough to beat them.
And you know what the Nuggets are yelling? He with us. You remember that? You remember we used to do that to non-shooters? The Rockets are shooting 14% from the three-point line.
Yeah.
I would trap Kevin Durant in the half-court set too. But that's why
and 16% from the foul line, too.
And that's horrible. But that's why the Rockets, they have to make sure that their identity is defense and they get stops and get out and run.
Yeah.
Because as we saw in the second quarter, look, when they got stops, when they got deflections, they got out in transition. They're too athletic not to be leading the league or one of the tops in transition buckets. And so when you look at these guys spreading the floor, the wings, the athleticism, Amen Thompson for the and one, Şengün getting up and down the floor, rim to rim running. That's the only way that they're going to be able to hang in games and win games is defense to offense. And then, to your point, Ime Udoka only could do a little bit when it comes to putting Kevin Durant in position to catch the ball where he's not getting double teamed. That's why they're missing Fred VanVleet and need a point guard.
The Rockets have 20 baskets in the paint. That's awesome. They got 40 paint points
out of 47 total points.
They only got 47.
Right.
That just ain't going to work in the modern NBA. On the Denver side, I think Jamal Murray looks good on that ankle. He looked a little bit hobbled the other night in Oklahoma City. Real good first half, and Christian Brown with a real good first
Well, this could be setting up for that truly stoppable force and a very movable object in the Rockets' clutch time offense and the Nuggets' clutch time defense potentially coming to a collision here, Coach.
Well, and it's been a tough year for the Nuggets in the clutch, which is something that we're not used to seeing. And they got 17 games to go to try to figure it out. And this is the second night of a back-to-back for Houston. Hopefully,
good point.
They can find a way to stay in the game.
Yeah.
We can get that late game clutch situation to see who can execute and have discipline and get stops.
I happen to know that they landed at 12:19 a.m. Mountain Time last night.
Little known fact about Brian Windhorst, elite plane tracker over here. Alperin Şengün.
That's okay. The airport's close to
And
Denver.
they call it the Windy Watch for a reason.
Cleared for takeoff.
The guy right there.
The victory tonight, 30 for him. He makes them go. You know, the guy that makes the Clippers go, that is Kawhi Leonard. And he was on one on Wednesday. Bucket good. He's up to 28. And the Clippers have the lead at the break. Steps into that three. That's good as well. Leonard again. Ball fakes there. Oh, that's clever. Clippers up 13. That means you have to go away to get 83, but 42 is a lot. Halfway to bam. Good win in Orlando. Magic looking for their 5th consecutive victory, hosting the Cavaliers. Stand and cheer. Shout out to Kevin Clark. Magic 0-2 against Cleveland this year. There's Spider, Donovan Mitchell. Float game on point. Up 4. Paolo Banchero finishes with 25. Things tied up at 62 at this point. Early third. Desmond Bane, one of the great shooters on the planet. Corner 3 is good. Magic up 4. Final minute of the third. Cleveland down 10. Oh, no. Noah Penda. Well, you know the rule. You have to retire. That's what they say. Cavs trail by 7. Bane. Thought they were going to try to double. Then he dribbles out of that. Magic up 9. Then James Harden. Step back 3. The lead is 5. Cavs next possession. There's Mitchell. Looking for a foul as well. No. 3 of his 25, 2-point game. This ball's off who? Harden upset after the call. Cavs out of challenges. Magic retained possession, and on the next inbound, Bane catch, shoot, all 3 of these. What an out of timeout. That's fantastic. Bane had 35, 6 boards, 6 assists, his 12th 30-point game of the year.